Okay, everyone, you're welcome. Hi, everyone. You're welcome to this live broadcast from We Table It platform. Yeah, can you see me now, Valerie?
Yes, I can see you now, but you have to reduce the volume on your second device because of the echo.
Is it better now?
Yes, it's better now.
Thank you, Valerie, for the feedback. So welcome, everyone, to this live broadcast. You're welcome to We Table It platform. We are about to start. I want to give us 1 or 2 minutes so we can have more people join us on this broadcast today. How are you doing, by the way? How's been your week? My name is Eno Vwaire, and I am your host on the Coffee Chatter for today. And with me on this platform are my co-hosts. I'll be introducing them shortly. So let's just wait for 1 or 2 minutes before we start fully. So as you come in, kindly share this broadcast on your pages and send to your friends so they can be here with us on this live. We have something quite interesting to share with us today. And we want as much or as many of you that can be on here so you can help us impact people from this broadcast. Today we'll be talking about jungle justice and violence against men. 1 minute. Sorry about that. So today we'll be talking about jungle justice and violence against men. Please share this broadcast. We want to have more people join us on this live stream. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. This is We Table It. Please share as you come in. Thank you for joining us. Every one of you, we are glad to have you on this platform. Once again, my name is Eno Vwaire, and I am live from Lagos, Nigeria. I am your host on the Coffee Chatter for today, and today we'll be talking about jungle justice and violence against men. Now, what inspired this topic, I would get to explain that in a bit. But before we go on, I want to introduce to you my co-host on this Coffee Chatter today. We have Dr. Osaro Aigbogun, an academician. He's from Malaysia. Actually, he's from West Africa, Nigeria, but he's based in Southeast Asia. He's going to be with us here, and Valerie as well from Nairobi, Kenya, who is an award-winning marketer. She's going to be with us today, and we're going to be having a great time talking about this topic on We Table It. Now, Why are we here today? We want to see how much we can impact every one of you who is watching and listening to us, so that whatever words we discuss here, you can, share in your immediate community. Because the topics we are going to be discussing today is quite a very strong one: jungle justice. And before the end of this broadcast, we would have an opportunity to invite maybe one or two persons to share their view about the topic. Now, what inspired this topic, jungle justice? Please say. We want to have more people join us on this live. I apologize for the little interruption here and there, but we'll continue. So, what inspired this topic, jungle justice? Sometime last week, I saw on WhatsApp, I don't know, someone shared a video, and I saw that video. Even up till now, I cannot even, fully watch the content of that video because it was an eyesore. Now, the content of the video is, from what I understood, a lady who stole a mobile phone and was stripped by men, I think about 5 of them, stripped her naked. And the very sad part of it was that they opened her private and poured in chili, I mean, very hot pepper. She was harassed, molested by men for allegedly stealing a mobile phone. Now, I would have wanted to bring this video to the fore, but I thought it's not good for us to share that very weak video. So this is what inspired this topic. I said, um, these situations is not just unique to us in Nigeria. We'll talk about what is jungle justice first before I go ahead. All right, so when I looked at Wikipedia, I got a definition of jungle justice as a mob justice or a form of extrajudicial killing which can be found, unfortunately, I would add, in Nigeria and Cameroon, where an alleged criminal is publicly humiliated, beaten, and summarily executed by vigilantes or an angry mob. That is Wikipedia's definition of jungle justice. And like I said, this topic is inspired by that video that I saw of a woman who was molested for stealing or allegedly stealing, because I believe that one cannot be said to have to be guilty of a crime until they have been tried in a court of law and proven guilty. And until then, they are just a suspect. So this is saying that the lady was allegedly accused of stealing a mobile phone, and because of that, she was stripped of her dignity, and she was, stripped of her clothes, and they poured pepper. Just thinking about it, it makes me want to shed tears. Now, according to the survey, because there are lots of information about that on the internet and on repositories where you need to get this information, jungle justice is quite prevalent in this part of the world. I mean, in Cameroon and in Nigeria. So unfortunately, we need to talk about this. It's a sad situation that we have to talk about it so that we do not have these incidents repeating themselves every now and then. All right, so according to a survey conducted in 2014 by NOI polls, 43% of Nigerians have personally witnessed a mob attack. So it is significant that these things are happening and we see them, our children see them. We do not want this chain or this cycle of violence to continue. That is why we need to talk about this. We need to educate ourselves and everyone around us so these things do not continue. All right, so as I go on, I would like you to share and I'd like you to leave your comments. I'll be reading your comments, and let me see if I have a comment as I speak at the moment. All right, now there are no comments. We'll just go on. So it's sad to say that this incident is prevalent in Nigeria and Cameroon. According to SB Mogen's report, 279 mob justice incidents happened, leading to the death of at least 391 individuals between 2019 and May 2022, of which 223, that's 223 of the cases happened in the south, while the remaining 168 occurred in the northern part of the country. Now, this is an article by a young man named Samuel Olomo, and it was posted in Sahara Reporters, April 28, 2023. You can go look at this information. All right, so jungle justice is actually common in a place where the judiciary system or law enforcement have lost their credibility. You know, so worthy of note is that it's not just Africa that we have the situation where the law enforcement have lost their credibility. We equally have them in the Europe too, where the principle of justice has likewise been what's discredited. Okay, so we'll go on. I don't need to tell us the consequences of jungle justice. It's something that we all know. From the incident of the Alu 4 in 2012, I know some of you would remember that incident. I was somewhere in Asia when that thing happened, and it shook the whole world, not just in Nigeria. Now, this happened in southeast, or sorry, I beg your pardon, the southern Nigeria, where some students were lynched to death. They were allegedly accused of theft. And four young, promising guys were killed. And it's so sad to know that whatever they were accused of was actually false. This is one of the disadvantages or the ills of jungle justice. Now, I will go on to say this. If we do not curb jungle justice on its track as it is, will sponsor a cycle of violence and lawlessness. 1 minute. Why do we have our legal system, the police, the judiciary? Why do we have them if we cannot rely on them to handle any incidents of crime, theft, whatever it is? Why do we have to resort to jungle justice? So now the incidents of jungle justice, one of the ills of it is that innocent people may die, like I said earlier, as a result of this on-the-spot execution, like what happened to those Alu 4. You can look that up on Google. Alu 4 of 2012 incident, where 4 young promising men were killed because they were allegedly caught for stealing. All right, so these young men, the sad part of it is that they are only sons of their parents or first sons of their parents. Every parents have invested their dream on their kids or in their kids, and what happens from nowhere because of this kind of injustice or maybe this indiscipline, because I see that as indiscipline, for you to take laws into your hands and kill someone because you think they are guilty of crime. All right, so we doing this actually decimates the essence of legal clauses. All right, so examples, like we said, of jungle justice, the Alu 4, we have one incident I saw on NigerLoaded.com. This one happened in 2018, where Ikimi Adewale, that is a 15-year-old hairdresser, a lady, was accused of theft. She was stripped and she was assaulted. And the sad part of it again is we had even women in the mob who tried to lynch this young girl before she was, she was saved. There was one that happened even this year in this 2023. A guy that they said he crashed into 4 persons and they died, and that guy was killed on the spot. We cannot continue like this. All right. So we have another incident of jungle justice by Islamic fundamentalists. This is not just Islamic issues. I want to use the word religious fundamentalists. The case of Deborah Samuel. who was a student of Shehu Shagari College of Education, Sokoto, in 2022. That was last year. There was a little misunderstanding, or how do I put it? Because of her religious slur or whatever they perceived it to be, the lady was stoned to death. She was killed by an angry mob who were defending their religion. Now, we cannot continue like this. And this is why we are talking about this. I am looking out to see if we have anyone with any significant comments. Thank you all once again for joining. And as you join in, please share this post, share. We want to have more people come on. This is a very, very important topic we are discussing today. We say no to jungle justice. We do not want jungle justice. So we say no to it. And this is why we are talking about it. Now, if you have anyone here who has a contrary opinion, who thinks that there is a reason why there should be jungle justice, or there are some instances, it's okay, your opinion. We want to hear from you. We want to read why you are saying so. If you want to join us in this call, please indicate and we will send you a link to come on the Zoom platform so you can speak. We want to hear from every one of you. So once again, you are welcome to this live broadcast on We Table It. My name is Zeno, and I am here from Lagos, Nigeria. I am one of the hosts on We Table It platform. We are doing a coffee chatter, so you get your cup of coffee and join me. All right, so we go on. Thank you, Valerie, for that. She has put the definition of the jungle justice on the comments. So let's go on. Before I go on, I want to talk about let me ask the first question. What can you say is the flaw of the system that will encourage jungle justice? I am looking for people to comment, and I want to hear what you think about it. What do you think is the flaw of the system that is making people to do jungle justice? Why is jungle justice a thing in this time and in this age? All right, so we want to see what you think about it, the reasons behind jungle justice. All right, so we have somebody. Go ahead. Valerie wants to say something. I want to hear from you, Valerie. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Eno. Thank you so much, because what you've talked about and really put into context is the incidents, I think, of jungle justice that are going on. And when you asked this question, the first thing I thought about was capacity. And this is capacity of our security forces. Do we have enough security forces to control our incidents that lead to jungle justice, and even then control the incidents of jungle justice itself? Could that be one of the reasons? So that's, yes, my contribution there.
Okay, you say there are the possibility of we do not have enough law enforcers in the system. This is why jungle justice is a thing. Okay, I want to let you know that in the incident of the Alu 4 in 2012, we heard that there were some policemen even in the scene when those guys were lynched. Even in the scene when those guys were lynched. And even the other examples I stated, we had that the police officers too were on the scene when these people were killed or they were abused or molested by the mob. Okay, so we'll go ahead. Thank you, Valerie, for that contribution. We'll go ahead to, I asked the question, I said, you still want to say something? Valerie, I can see you. You want to say something?
Maybe I can add, but now I'd be taking it out of context as well, because I remember when you were talking to me about this topic and the prevalence in West Africa, Cameroon and Nigeria especially, and finding that it's also prevalent in Kenya, but there's very little information, actual news articles are difficult to find. So maybe we have a gap in that where we don't have enough information that substantiates depth of the challenge. Yeah.
Okay. I think that's very, very valid. We do not have enough information. Even in the second topic we'll be treating today, information is a challenge. So we need to close this gap. We need when we are talking about recommendations, this issue we are going to talk about what we think we can do to reduce these incidences. Okay. All right, so I asked the question, I said, what can you say is a flaw of the system that encourages people to do jungle justice? I want to read questions or any contributions. It's okay to leave them here in the Zoom or on Facebook. I want to read them. Do we have anyone in the chat at the moment? Yeah, I have in the chat. All right. From Dr. Saro. Some years ago, during the height of armed robbery in Lagos, Nigeria, I did a deep retrospection on this topic. There was loads of news on alleged armed robbers having jungle justice applied on them. Sadly, this didn't seem to affect the number of reported robberies. Now, if jungle justice cannot curb criminality, why do we still engage in them? I'm reading from Don Sassi. Jungle justice is a reflection of the failure of the security personnel and the judicial system. I agree with you on that. Then Mary Ngaruma says people have unresolved anger and bitterness due to lack of employment and other social difficulties which are firing off the jungle justice. Now, I want to repeat here that even on Wikipedia, they say this incident is prevalent in Nigeria and Cameroon. And I want to believe that we are not the only countries that are going through hard times now. There are other parts in the world, in Asia, even in America, where they're going through economic downturn, and we do not see this thing as a case there. So why is it that people engage in jungle justice? Unresolved anger, you said, and bitterness due to lack of employment. If in other climes that they experience this, why is it that the unemployed in this part of the world are doing this? I think there are some deeper, deeper reasons why people do this. As we go on, we want to read more from you guys. Thank you for your contribution. Thank you for your contribution. Yeah, the judicial system, slow. Walter Siganga says, it may link to our judicial system. The examples you gave were emotional situations where people want instant justice. The judicial system is slow and deliberate. And even if one is arrested, it may take a long time for the cases will be adjudicated. People sometimes aren't willing to wait. They may also not agree with the court ruling. Now, this is one thing about the court. You may or may not be acquitted of whatever crime whoever is petitioning you has come forth with. I think more education needs to be brought to the fore. People need to be educated. They need to know that they need to trust their judicial system. We need to trust our law enforcers. We need to trust our police. Yes, the police, the law enforcers, and the judicial system. What I is saying here is that it takes a while for them to actually, I mean, put this case on the table and look at it, whether this person is guilty or not, whether this person is discharged or whether this person is reprimanded by the law. Now, and because of that, people are impatient. And sometimes, like what I hear when we discuss, people say the judiciary is corrupt. This is one aspect too. I hear people say the judiciary is corrupt. When there are cases taken to them, they maybe collect bribes and they do not really give justice. Justice is corrupted. I think this is another reason, from my own perspective, why people do not want to wait for the law to take its course. People just want to go ahead and do jungle justice. Do we still have any other questions or comments? I'm trying to see.
I think Eno
Right.
Donsazi wants to say something.
Yeah, I see that too. Yeah, I see that. Don Sazi says an armed robber who is a deadly killer is caught publicly caught and handed over to the police. The next day he is out, and the people who handed the fellow over are killed, are all killed. Now, this is one of the things that what the ills of this situation now, where we say the judiciary, some aspects, some of them are corrupt. When we bring these cases to them and they do not attend to it justly, it makes people to lose trust, and they want to handle the situations by themselves. These are the very strong reasons why people do jungle justice. Thank you for that input. Dr. Osaro wants to come in. Yes, you're free to come in now, please. Go ahead.
All right. I would like to come in. However, I see Don Sazi's hand is raised and you didn't call him. Perhaps he's got something to say. But after Don Sazi, I can come in. His hand was raised before me. And
all right. Okay. Please go ahead, Don.
All right. Good afternoon. Sorry. Good morning.
Good afternoon. You're welcome.
It's morning. Yeah. Hi. Interesting topic. But the funny thing. Let me use Nigeria as the scenario here. For jungle justice, it's more of an institutional problem because when you look back in Nigeria, there's a clear distrust of every government institution currently at all levels. Provided it is a government institution, it is not trusted. Whatever they say, nobody believes. Everybody believes it is a case of money changing hands, or as we say in Nigeria, man no man. So there is no trust. Nobody believes the system. So it will continue, and that has given rise to vigilante groups. Some of them have turned to militias today, because if I take it way back, Osara is on this call, he will remember there was a time there was a very terrible explosion in Delta State, Jesse to be exact, and people were burnt. After that, there was agitation. Now, certain companies, I don't want to call names, came. When people protested, they brought in military and paramilitary groups to, kill people in the society, in the communities. Somebody filmed them raping his own mother, took it to the House of Assembly, and nothing was done. I stayed in a rural community for years. Thankfully, I was in school that period. A case came up. We had, in that community, there was only one bank. Armed robbers came to the bank that morning, and the youths, trying to be proactive, blocked all access routes. Now, the armed robbers moved from one access point to the other and were shooting and killing people because they couldn't move through. The youths now went to the police station to report that, see what was going on. The police said they didn't have fuel to show up. By the time the armed robbers had killed some youths, made their way free and taken off, the police now showed up. What did you expect? The youths got angry, went to the police station, burnt it down, and ransacked the place. A few days later, the governor mobilized mobile policemen, a more tactical and more brutal police team, to come into the town and just randomly kill people. Now tell me why these people will believe. So it's a total failure of the political system. That's what caused this.
All right, Don Sassi, what do you think? What do you suggest should be done so that this kind of situation does not repeat itself? Who do you think we should channel this advice to that you're about to tell us? What do you think they should do so that we can de-escalate situations of jungle justice?
It should start at the grassroots, because if you want to start at the top, you are wasting your time.
All right.
They don't trust the top. So, for instance, thankfully now in the police, some of them have realized that they need to work on their PR. So they are now bringing in young officers, young dynamic officers, like in Lagos. where I stay. There's this guy. He's a young guy. He's tech savvy, social media savvy, and he engages a lot. And he admits the
Okay.
fact that system is really bad, but they are trying to work
It's
on it.
bad.
So little by little, it's changing. So one needs to go back to the grassroots, the youth leaders, not even the community leaders, because the youths don't believe in their elders anymore. Like
Yeah,
they say,
that's true.
forgive me, I go speak pidgin. Say we be the talk say now use with the leaders of tomorrow, forget na scam. The elders not going to come out. You understand? That means
All
they
right.
say the youth are the leaders of tomorrow, but the elders are not left. Funny enough, the people I read about who were the leaders when I was a child are still the guys ruling till today.
So it's like you are giving people an expo of our next topic
Oh,
of
sorry about that.
discussion. We are going to be talking about. No, that's okay. It's okay. We're actually going to be talking about why the youths of today are not or cannot be the leaders of tomorrow. It's actually, it's like you are saying. When I was a kid, I heard that even in primary school that we are the leaders of tomorrow. We are
Tomorrow,
yet
but
to be the leaders of tomorrow. Have our grandfathers as the leaders even now. So this is a topic that we should discuss. Thank you for your contribution, Don. You are right. It has to go from the grassroots to the top, because right now, the top, I would say boldly, is a mess. The law enforcers are not doing much to help in this situation. The one you spoke about is a situation of insult upon injury. They've been attacked by armed robbers. Instead of you to caution this effect, you have come to even add more insult to the aggrieved people. We do not want to see these things happening. We don't want to see these things happening. I want to ask a question. Like the case of the Alu 4, as a bystander, Don, what would you have done to prevent this situation? You were in a mob or around the people who want to do jungle justice to someone that is allegedly a criminal or have done something to them. What can you do to stop these people? Or can you really do something to stop these people? I want to hear from you.
you have been in a mob, and
Okay.
the only thing I did was very simple: shift to a safe distance and call the police that look at what wants to happen. And thankfully, the guy I called was a sensible young man. He sent a detachment, and they took the guy away. But I also made sure that they didn't know I was the one, because I mean, they could have turned ugly.
Yeah, because we come for you. You're right. Your
Yeah,
safety is very
we
important.
lost a
So,
classmate of ours because of mob action. That was last year, late last year, and he left a wife and kids.
so sorry about.
He
Oh,
was
so
in
sorry
my
about.
side. Burnt. He was burnt because the
Oh,
mob thought he was a ritualist when he was not. And somebody shouted ritualist, ritualist, and they didn't even want to ask. They didn't want to know. They just attacked the guy.
you see that. So this is what we are talking about. The innocent ones will be victims if we do not control jungle justice in our communities. Dr. Osaro has his hands raised. Please, can we have you?
Yes, please. Thank you very much for this very interesting topic. Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Great, great, great. Yeah. So, yeah, brilliant, expose by Don Sazi. I would like to, for someone like me, I believe in the theory that states that if we want to solve a problem, we have to get to the root of the problem. About 12 or 13 years ago, I happened to watch a movie called The Great Debaters. Pretty sure many of you have seen that movie, one of my best. And a part of the movie educated me on the origin of lynching, all right? This jungle justice, where they apply lynching. So basically, during the slave era in the late, I think, 19th century, there was starting to be an uprising among the slaves who wanted to ditch the slavery and make a go for freedom. And so there was this certain man called Henry Lynch, all right? Henry Lynch, all right? He devised a method to put the slaves in check. Very graphic, very inhumane, and sorry for those who may feel offended with this, but I'll just try to limit the graphical explanation of this. So he defined a depiction. He devised a method where he would, if they catch a slave who was trying to flee, or who was in the actual process of fleeing, they will gather every other slave together, all right, in a crowd, in a group, and then bring the slave who was implicated in this act, and then put 2 horses behind him, and on each leg they will tie a rope and they'll drag him so that he's, split into 2. They purposely did this in front of everybody, and the reason was that although the slaves were physical, I'd like to rephrase that. This method became very popular because it had the ability to keep the slaves still physically strong, but psychologically weak. And so many of them would not want to, escape. And that is where the origin of the word lynching came up. It came up from this man's surname, Henry Lynch, all right? So what was the reason? The reason was to put people in check. And I believe that this jungle justice applied on alleged criminals was similar by communities or populations to put the people in check so that when they see one person being lynched, they would not repeat the crime. Nobody would want to copy that crime and carry it out. But the question we should ask ourselves today, the same thing that I asked myself some years ago, because I was very concerned, and that's why I'm grateful for this topic, is the motive for carrying out this lynching, this jungle justice, has it been achieved or not? Sadly, we all know, and we are having this topic because it hasn't been achieved. We are not achieving the aim for the lynching that is being applied by the mob. And so since the aim has totally been defeated, and of course I do not support jungle justice. However, if we were to put it as in context, in perspective, the aim has not been achieved. And so we need to, as a proper society, I'm talking about globally, we need to ditch this for better methods, which are already existing. And I think that proper advocacy would go a long way. And just like what Don Sazi said, it has to start from the grassroots. And this is where, for countries like Nigeria, of course, I'm aware that we have there is existence of a national orientation agency, the NOA. And I'm aware of this because I did a study. I tried to find out some things in the past, and I found out that this agency is tasked with orientation of the population. And I believe that some other countries, if not all countries, have similar agencies tasked with this role. They need to start proper advocacy, capacity building, letting people know that this is no more an efficient method. Decriminalizing it is nothing to talk about because it is a criminal offense. Okay, so no need to talk about decriminalizing because it's definitely a criminal offense. Yeah. So we need to go ahead and start proper orientation. All right, that is my contribution. That's what I want to say at this point. But very good topic.
Thank you very much, Doctor.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. So going back to the reasons for jungle justice or behind jungle justice. The first one would agree is the lack of confidence in the law enforcers or law enforcement agencies or the judiciary system. I saw something from Princess Olufemi Kayode, founder, Media Concern Initiative for Women and Girls. She explained that anger and family background are a root cause of violence. Now, for you to pour out, your anger, your dissatisfaction, your discontent, your whatever, over something that's been done to you or perceived to have been done to you in such a way as lynch. Yeah, by the way, Doctor, I saw when I was looking at the origin of the word lynch, I saw it came from the 17th century. Brothers Charles and William Lynch. I remember that. I don't know, we still have to dig deep and see which of these stories are consistent. Okay, so she said that it's born out of anger and family background are a root cause of it. So this goes to say that we as a family unit, father, mother, we have a role to play if we do not want these incidents to translate into the next generation, we start now to educate even our children, to let them know the boundaries of pouring out their anger. We let them know you do not have to get physical. You don't know how to be violent, to get revenge or to get justice or do something right by you. All right. So we have role to play as parents to prevent or to reduce the incidence of jungle justice. If every parent will take this upon themselves to talk to their children, talk to their neighbors, talk to their friends about this topic, trust me, it is going to be very effective in reducing the incidences of jungle justice. There is one question I want to ask. Can anyone other than the law carry out justice against an accused? I'm asking this question because we see that our law enforcers have failed us. We are hoping that in the nearest future, they would step up in their game to protect us and protect, because everyone has a right to justice. Everyone has a right to justice. That is why you must be tried in the court to prove yourself innocent of any accusation. Now, when these law enforcers have failed us, can anyone other than them carry out justice against an accused? I'm asking this question because I'm thinking that it's possible, because everybody, we've lost trust in this law enforcement. So we want to carry out this justice by ourselves. Do you think it will be necessary for us to have like a body within our system, our communities, immediate communities, the grassroots, that can actually try, that can actually make sure that when the court has, given their verdict on any case, that the punishment is being observed by the accused, or sorry, by the one who is guilty of the offense? Is it necessary or to have such a body from the grassroots within our communities that we can trust to ensure that these punishments are being carried out, that they do not escape, that they do not corrupt justice? This is the question I want to throw to the House. Please, can I have anyone to answer that question? I'm looking for chats. Don Sazi. Please, is there any other name I can call you by?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, go ahead. You can say something.
My name is Osaze.
Sorry?
Osaze.
All right. Thank you. All right.
All right.
Go ahead.
This question, no. I'll say no because, you see, power, especially I like to say my country, power. Give a Nigerian power. The problems, we don't handle power well. Because the average Nigerian has been, oppressed, in quote, if I might use that term. And so when power comes in, it becomes like a drug, and we don't handle it well. It has not been.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So giving justice into the hands of untrained people, if I might say, because a judge, a lawyer has been trained. He's gone to school. He's undergone some training. No matter what, at least he's gone through books. He has been experienced, or he has seen it happen before. So he can. And there's a system of check and balance. There's the Judicial Council, the other organizations to check. But when you now give a group of people, a common man, if I might use that term, and they are now judge and executioner. Here we don't have jury anyway. It goes to the head, and from a simple street monitoring group, it turns into a vigilante group. Before you know, they become a major force.
Yeah, I agree with you. This incident happened when we had the unrest in the southeast part of Nigeria. Some groups were set up. They called them the Bakassi Boys at that time, to curb the excesses of criminals, and it did not end well. Like Don has said, power intoxicates when it gets into the hands who do not know how to moderate the use of authority. everything could get messy. I want to read a comment from Adaise Chioma. She said, people should also talk to themselves. People themselves should also learn to do the right thing. This is what we are talking about. We need to be disciplined. And I will still reiterate, the family unit, the parents have a very, very big role to play in educating or inculcating this sense of responsibility and discipline in the lives of their children, so they know how to interpret whatever they feel when they are in the face of injustice or in the face of any kind of crime against them. So this is, thank you, Adeze, for that comment. I'm still looking out for more comments, even on Zoom here. Okay, so I saw one other comment from Dawn. In a sane society, no, but in reality, we now have vigilante groups, militia, etc. These are not ideal and not good, as power always corrupts. That is very, very true. Thank you for that input. Okay, so what are the recommendations? I want to see what you would say are the recommendations to sensitize the public against jungle justice, or to put structures in place to mitigate these incidences. I need to hear from you. I want to see people raise their hands. I want to see them leave comments in the chat, or yeah, on Facebook, please. Do we have any comments? Thank you once again. All right, I see one comment coming in. All right, so Adaise Chioma says something. I said jungle justice or mob justice involves individuals taking laws into their own hands outside of the legal system. It is not considered acceptable, as it often leads to violence, lack of due process, and innocent people being harmed. Instead, societies rely on established legal systems to ensure fair and just treatment. For example, in some cases, people may resort to jungle justice due to frustration with perceived slow or corrupt legal processes. However, this can result in serious consequences, such as the wrongful punishment of individuals who may be innocent or the escalation of violence. In contrast, a functioning legal system, while not perfect, provides a structured and fair process to address wrongdoings, protect individual rights, and maintain social order. It is essential to encourage the rule of law and discourage vigilantism for the well-being of the society. Thank you, Adaise. That was quite more than a mouthful. Thanks for that contribution. Now, she's saying something about the legal system not being perfect. So while we wait for them to put their games together, we need to work on us in the grassroots. My recommendation is education, 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 active sensitization of the public from the grassroots about prevalence and illegalities of jungle justice. From the primary school to tertiary level, extracurriculars should involve talks about the subject. Addressing this now, we see the benefits roll over to the next generation. I'm waiting to see a word from somebody. Do we have any other comments? I know Valerie is moderating from behind. Yes, I think I must have read everyone's comments on the Facebook. Yeah, thank you everyone for your contribution on this topic. We would move to the next one. I asked some questions. I said, as a bystander, what actions can be taken to prevent the situation of the jungle system? And Osaze said that you would have, if you observe this about to take place, you go to a safe place to protect yourself, and then you call the police so that they can come to resolve whatever situation is on ground. That's a very sound one, because, you know, in this kind of situation, if you go and put, you have to, you know, safety first, think about your safety. If you go forward to say something about it, and they might just, you know, add you to whoever they want to lead, and they wear you the necklace. When I say necklace, I mean the tires that is placed on the neck of an armed robber or someone who is allegedly an armed robber, and they set them ablaze by that tire. That's the necklace. That's what they call it in jungle justice. All right, thank you everyone for your time. I want everyone to be actively, that is the recommendation, every one of us to be actively involved in this education, talking to everyone, your children, your neighbors, letting them know of the ills of jungle justice. Okay, and if you are by any chance a law enforcer watching this screen today, and you can in any way influence decision making, I want to suggest you put more effort into curbing jungle justice, national level, state level, local government level, in every country where this is a reality. Thank you everyone for your time. We want to go quickly into a second topic. For lack of time, we may not treat this topic and would want to continue next week. We want to talk about now violence against men. So in November, the world commemorates the day for the elimination of violence against women and girls. A lot of structures have been put in place to give support to victims of abuse. Especially, we want to emphasize on domestic abuse. A lot of structures been set up, systems put in place to give support to women who have been abused in their love affairs or relationship. But very few help has been given to men who are victims of violence. So we want to be looking at this because the world is looking at women at this time. And from statistics, we have significant amount of men who are going through violence, even in their relationship, their marriage or whatever, they're going through violence. We want to shine the light on this topic. We want people to know that some men go through abuse. Some married men go through abuse, and because of the culture, they cannot speak about it. They can't talk about it. I remember bringing this topic to a friend, and I'm saying, we want to talk about violence against men. And his response, amazed me, was like, why will a man say he was abused by a woman? He should go and sit down. Why would he come out to say he's abused by a woman? That, this ego thing, men are not supposed to come out to say because it's unheard of. They don't believe a man cannot control any situation. He should be able to man his home. He should be able to. But the truth is this: men, significant amount of men are being abused in their relationships. All right, so this is what we're looking at briefly today, and we are going to concentrate on this topic next week. So we want you guys to stay tuned. There is one thing or the other you'll be learning from this topic. Now, under the topic, violence against men, there are different kinds of violence. The domestic violence or abuse is the one we are looking at here. There are sexual orientation kind of violence. This violence against the gay people. When you see them that they're gay, it is forbidden, and you beat them up, you do that. That is violence. Then sexual violence. We see cases of people in jail, men being raped in jail. Even some men are gang raped by women. We see those. We hear these cases. Wartime violence too. Some men are abused. Soldiers, when they go out for war to protect their countries. Unfortunately, these men, some are abused, and they can't come out to say it because of the stigmatization that is, around the topic. And we have homicide, men that have died out of homicide, and then police killing. Even in the United States of America, we have cases of police killing. We don't want to go too far. Here at home, we have cases of police killing of our men, because when men come out, anyone feels intimidated. They just see a man and they're intimidated. That's what I think. Now we want to see what we can do to contribute to the reduction or elimination of violence against men. All right, so I want to read from Adese again. She said, research on the prevalence of abuse against men varies, and reported rates may not fully reflect the extent of the issue due to underreporting. Many men may not come forward due to concerns about being disbelieved or facing further stigmatization. Now, this situation, thank you, Adeze, for that contribution. This situation is closer to home than we think. I was discussing this with someone who's very close, and she was like, this is happening to me right now as we speak. A family member is going through this, where they are being abused by their spouses. By the way, there are different kinds of abuse, but we are, concentrating on violence. Okay, when we're talking about abuse against spouse, it could be financial abuse, technological abuse, it could be physical abuse, it could be emotional abuse, mental abuse, whatever it is. But we want to focus on violence. That's the physical abuse. Other sides of abuse as well. So many things are going on. Our men are not speaking up. We want people who will advocate for men, those ones going through it. They can't come out. So I want to ask a question. Why do you think these incidents of violence against men is being underreported? What do you think is a major reason why we do not have enough data on this topic, violence against men? Do I have anyone who wants to answer this? Don't Sassy, please go ahead.
Yeah, when you ask your question, why there's not enough data, the fact is men are not speaking up. There's this view, men don't cry, men don't, men, a real man won't show his emotions. Um, so it's difficult to come out publicly and say what you are going through or what you are experiencing or have experienced, because the average guy laughs off his problems. It's not like these days where there's more empathy, there's more emotional intelligence. When we were growing up, there's not emotional intelligence. I'm sorry to say, but a lot of times when me and my peers and my brothers we speak, we say this generation they do shout because a lot of things we hear them talk about that is wrong with them. I'm like, that's your problem. I empathize because I understand, but about half of my peers don't get it. They're like, what kind of weak guy is this? I said, no. For you and I, we've gone through it, we survived it, and we've come out better. But so when they see that, they go into their shell. That's the fact. The fact is there's no empathy, there's no pity for the man who shows his emotions or feelings. That's the problem. That's really the
Who is
problem.
going through violence? Yeah, and I agree with you on that. I've heard two cases where men reported violence to the law enforcement, the police, and they are like, how can you say that you are, abused, And, it beats me when they go through this kind of maybe distrust or no one is believing them, what they are going through. It makes them withdraw into their shells. Now, I want to tell you guys something based on statistics. When we talk about suicide rates, we have more men who have committed suicide than women because, like you said, men are not allowed to, show their emotions. They bottle everything up in. So, when you couple the abuse with maybe financial situation, the economic situation, and everything, there's so much for a man to take. This is why some of them just say, "Oh, it is over." They just want to end it. And this is why we have the high incidence of suicide on the male gender. So yes, it's a very important topic. I think you guys need to reflect on this. We have more men committing suicide. Why is that? I think that there's a very strong correlation between abuse, violence against men and suicide. This is one aspect we're going to delve into deeply next week. If we have anyone who is contributing, I would want to read. Yeah. There's a saying, men may fear judgment or disbelief if they disclose that they are victims of violence. Concerns about being perceived as weak or emasculated can prevent individuals from seeking help. There is a societal tendency to downplay or dismiss instances of violence against men, assuming that they can defend themselves or that abuse is primarily a woman's issue. The lack, the lack of recognition can contribute to men feeling invisible, I beg your pardon, or invalidated in their experiences. Itive Diogba says, men don't speak up. Besides, I'm going back, men don't speak up. Besides, male dominance in our society has I didn't get that, shielded such incidences in our society. I think that's what you mean. You said male dominance in the society has somehow shielded such incidences in our society because they see the men as the stronger vessel. Women are termed or tagged the weaker vessel. So it is I think it's unheard of, or it's perceived to be unheard of, that men are being abused. But we want to let you know, we are bringing this to the fore, that men are abused. If you check the statistics, we have a significant number of abuse by men, or of men, that's victims, male victims of violence. Yeah, it's a significant number. So we need to look at this topic, and support services for male victims might be less available or less well publicized compared to those for female victims. This lack of resources can discourage men from seeking help. That's the truth. There are no much resources or structures or systems set in place to give men support. Now, as the world is looking at, protecting women from violence, we need the world to also look at protecting men as well from violence. We need people to know that significant number of men are victims of violence. This is why we are on this platform discussing this right now. I want to know what recommendations you have on this topic. We'll go deeply into this topic next week, but I still want to hear from you what recommendations you have on this topic. Thank you everybody for contributing. Adese, you've made a lot of contribution. Itive, you have done a lot of contribution. Okay, this contribution as well. Thank you, Don Sazi or Saze. I prefer to call you Saze. Thank you everyone for your contribution. Thank you, Walter, for your contribution. We're about to rounding up, but I want to hear something from someone. What are your recommendations? What do you think we should do? Or what systems should we set up to bring this to the fore, or to protect our men even better? Like I said before, there is a correlation between this, violence against men, and the high rate of suicide by men. So we need to look at this topic. Don is raising his hand again. Please go ahead.
The fact is, in order to help, more empathy. Now, the way it goes is, a man is even afraid to open up to his fellow man, because you don't want to be seen as weak. I wrote something that said men are not loved, they are valued. That's the way society makes it. That for us, society has given a man a role automatically: provider, protector, supplier, aka Superman. So
Superman, yes.
they must not hear daddy is not feeling fine. It's weird. Everybody looks at you as if you are weird. But the narrative needs to change. That look, we are human too. It's just the way before growing up we used to look at reverend fathers as small gods. They can't do wrong.
Yeah.
But the narrative has changed today. Today everybody understands they are men too. They are a nun is a woman too. They have feelings. If that kind of mentality is moved, then people understand that men have feelings, men get sick, men can lose it sometimes. It is okay to cry. It is okay to be weak. It will change, and it's not something that you can just start overnight. It starts with raising kids right already. There are days I'll come home, I'm exhausted, tired. My daughter looks at me, smiles, and gives me a hug and says, it will be okay, all right? My son does the same, and it's weird for me, especially when my son does it, because I wasn't raised that way, you know. But I remind myself that yes, he's empathetic, he's growing up. So
Yeah, times have
for
changed.
the current crop of men, it won't work. You can't do that. But those coming, we can start teaching them, showing them the right way. That's the only way out, honestly.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Adese says efforts to address the underreporting of violence against men should involve challenging stereotypes, promoting awareness, and creating a supportive environment where victims feel comfortable seeking help without fear of judgment. It is important to emphasize that abuse can happen to anyone, regardless of gender, and all victims deserve support and resources. Now, this is one of my recommendations on this topic. Um, we need to provide an enabling environment where guys are free to speak about it. Because if you ask one or two or three men who have gone through abuse, not even one is willing to come out and speak. And this is because of the stigma. This is because of the stereotypes. Nobody wants to be seen as weak, especially for a man. A man is egocentric in nature, so they don't want to come out as weak. So, but we need to let people know that it is okay. And I'm speaking today. If you are a man and you are listening to me, going through violence, spousal abuse, I want to tell you that it is okay to speak up. If you need some support, it's okay to reach out to us on the We Table It platform. You can send us a message directly and we will give you the support that you need. It's okay to speak up, please. A man should feel free to let us know that they are going through abuse. Now, if we look at the Western setting where the law protects a woman even more than the men, in the marriage, a woman has upper hand than the man. The woman is more protected. And these cases of abuse tends to be higher in these parts of the world because the woman is more protected in a marriage than the man. A lot of them go through this kind of abuse and they cannot speak. Why? They do not want to lose everything that they own. They don't want to lose everything. You know, you work for the whole of your life and you get married to a woman and just one little problem because you have the signature in paper. She has right to everything. This is why some men don't speak up. Some men don't speak up because of this. Financial abuse. Because of this, they keep quiet. All right, so these things are prevalent. I've watched videos where women on camera, they are trying to implicate their men so that the law enforcers can take them away. Men endure this abuse in the house. I want to tell them that it is not okay. Please speak up. As the world is advocating for women to be protected against violence, we are advocating for you to be protected. Thank you, everyone. I want to quickly share my screen where we have a short summary of the statistics of the first topic, jungle justice. What?
I can share for you, Eno.
I'm doing that right away.
Okay.
Thank you, Valerie. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see it.
All right. I think we need to put this in perspective. In 2011, in the 2011 crime report, the National Police Service captured for the first and only time mob justice as an independent category of crime in Kenya. Around 11 people per 100,000 per year die by suicide in the African region, higher than the global average of 9 per 100,000 people. This is what we are talking about, the correlation between abuse and suicide. Data trend on Kenya show that suicide rates among men have consistently been 3 to 4 times that of women in the last 2 decades. Thank you for watching. All right, like I said, we're going to be continuing this topic. There are lots of things to talk about. Lots of things. Before I end, I want to quickly read if there is any comment I have not touched. The fact is, men are not loved but valued. Society have given men a role that shows for men to be a man, he must have value. Hence, a man cannot speak about his issues so as not to be seen to be valueless. That's done. Then Jeremiah says, we are not believed when we come forward at all. I tried to get help and was told point blank by the police, but you are a man. How can you say she's violent towards you? My friends ganged up on me and told me to stop lying about my situation, at least the one that didn't witness it. And you can't defend yourself as a man because immediately you do, you become a wife beater, abuser. So why report it or talk about it? Just suffer in silence and get out when you can. You see, this is why we need people to speak up to get the support that they need. You do not need to keep quiet. Please, if you are going through any sort of abuse, please speak out. We are trying to set up a platform where we can provide support for people like you. So speak out, you will get help, you will heal, all right? So thank you for that input. All right, thank you everyone for your contributions. I want to ask, Valerie, do you have anything to say to round up this session?
Thank you, Eno. I think, and the discussion has been very interesting, eye-opening, really understanding perspectives on jungle justice. Here, I think we call it mob justice, but really understanding that deeper. And I am looking forward to the next discussion where we really dive into violence against men. But yes, thank you. Just happy with the insights and thankful to everybody for their contributions. We really do appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Valerie. Dr. Sarah, do you have anything to say?
Oh, yes. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. It's been, I mean, we all agree that this has been a very interesting conversation today. You know, very interesting, explosive topics, you know, 2 explosive topics that we believe will create some significant noise out there that can generate more conversations, because we need to talk about this. From my end, the summary of the second topic, which I didn't get to contribute, because if you allow me to contribute, I'll talk for 1 hour, is that nowadays, men are, to be called a man, you have to accept that you have to be in this life to suffer, to be discriminated upon, and to be at the losing end. That's what society has come to define the traditional man as. And that's quite sad and painful that it is happening, and many men are getting, you know, the brunt of this. But thank you very much, everyone that has joined this conversation. You have added spice to whatever we've discussed today. We appreciate this. And if you do believe that these topics we have discussed about today is impactful and needs to be heard by everybody, irrespective of where they are around the globe, then you can do us a favor by sharing this video and sharing information about this page with Table It. And you know that as much as we grow, this is just like a wildfire. This message will continue to grow with us. So thank you once again, and I wish you all a beautiful weekend.
Thank you, Doctor. And to cap this all up, I want to say something. We would like to hear more from anyone who is going through this situation of violence against men or spousal abuse. We want to be able to document these incidences by your, with your permission. Kindly inbox us. We want to hear from you if you think it's okay. Every of this information you are given will go a long way in supporting or giving support to, even if it's one person going through. We need to hear from each and every one of you. It's okay to leave us a message in our message on Facebook. We Table It platform. Thank you once again for your time. I appreciate every one of you coming live with us today, and wherever you're watching from in the globe, you are very, very appreciated. From all of us on this platform, Dr. Saro, Valerie, and myself, thank you, and do have a blessed weekend.